finally, we had an awesome Monday Night Football game featuring the Lions and the Ravens. And as you can see by my thumbnail, the Ravens end up falling to the Detroit Lions. In this game, it was quarterback masterclass. You had Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff going just blow for blow. They were just fantastic. But the biggest takeaway from this game was the defenses. And when I was watching this game, I was sitting here thinking, okay, someone is going to come out on top. I didn't know who that was going to be. And the game for me was measured by this when I was watching. I was saying, okay, this game is going to be measured by who gets the turnover. Who is going to turn the ball over? Because the defenses could not get stops. The Lions defenses could not get stops. Lamar Jackson was throwing the ball everywhere around the field. Lamar Jackson was 21 for 27, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jared Goff himself, he was 20 for 28, 202 yards, 1 touchdown. The Lions averaged 5.9 yards per rush, and they rushed for 224 yards. So both defenses couldn't do anything. And then Aidan Hutchinson, Big Hutch, the man who was up for a contract extension going into this upcoming season, he's putting in his, he's seeing Micah Parsons' contract. Micah Parsons getting $47 million. Somebody's wanting to be the highest paid QB over there in Detroit. So Aidan Hutchinson is putting his stamp on that. He made the big play. Peanut punch. Derrick Henry had the fumble-rooskies so far to go on this season. If I'm not mistaken, 100% sure. They said he fumbled in week 2. I don't remember that. I just know clearly we remember against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football, he fumbled the ball 2 times. And in this game right here, when the thick got thin, he fumbled the ball again. But I wrote my notes pretty much half by half, so let's discuss each half. We got a pretty much broad statement of what went on to the game. Both defenses struggled. The game was really based on what team was going to get that big turnover. The Lions got that big turnover on defense, and they prevailed. From the first half, a lot of things that I was observing. Goff was super efficient on third down, specifically with Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta seemed to be his guy, his go-to guy on third down, because it was pitch and catch with Sam Laporta. I don't know why Kyle Hamilton was not shadowing Sam Laporta on third down. Laporta got to his route, broke down, got to the sticks, and was getting first downs. And Jared Goff was super comfortable in the pocket. One thing that you cannot let Jared Goff be. You cannot let Jared Goff get comfortable in the pocket, because if you let Jared Goff get comfortable in the pocket, he is going to dice you up for dinner. Okay? Any type of way, food analogy you want to put on there, filet mignon, he's going to cook. He's going to cook you if he gets comfortable. So you got to get pressure on Jared Goff, which is something that the Baltimore Ravens did not do. I don't even know if they recorded a sack here. Let's make sure and go by the defense. Yeah, 0 sacks. Overall pressures they had on Monday. I don't know what this stands for. I don't know if PD. I don't think PD stands for pressures, but they got no sacks on Jared Goff, which is, they were out with Matabuke. They didn't have Kyle Van Noy, but still, with the issues that the Detroit Lions had on their interior O-line, you'd think that the Baltimore Ravens, who is a team who is supposed to be built on toughness, a team who is supposed to be built on grit and defense, you'd think they would be able to at least get a sack with a struggling Lions offense. But the Lions in both halves dominated the line of scrimmage. The Lions O-line dominated the Ravens D-line. Vice versa. The D-line I know the score doesn't show, Baltimore was able to come up with 30 points. But that pass rush from the Lions was absolutely on time. They sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times from the top of my head. And let me make sure that's correct. Yes, they sacked Lamar 7 times. They had 6 tackles for loss. There were plenty of instances where I was like, Lamar, get rid of the ball. And Lamar would get away. And somehow, some way, the Lions' defensive line would come up with a shoestring tackle to tackle Lamar down. They were just phenomenal. They did a great job containing Lamar Jackson. They did a good job covering down the field. and it was just super efficient because we know when Lamar Jackson, and this is something that I got to say with Lamar Jackson as well, and it's something I observed in the first half. Lamar Jackson has become super efficient with throwing the football, like super duper efficient. It's a great thing to see. Just going into the draft, everybody making him want to be a running back coming out, and then he just silences all the critics. And he had troubles throwing the football early on in his career. He even had troubles throwing the football his very first MVP, and now he's just pretty much done a 360. There was a lot of balls that Lamar Jackson threw, specifically that one in the end zone to Mark Andrews. Absolute beauty. Lamar was just throwing the ball on a dime all night. All night. The only bad part and bad thing that happened in the first half for the Baltimore Ravens was you had that in the half sequence. You get the ball down to the 1 yard line, and you could not get the ball into the end zone. You couldn't get 1 yard. They had second, third, and fourth down to get 1 yard. And with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, they was not able to muster up a yard and score a touchdown. That was another big pivotal point in this game as well. That was huge. But yeah, it's just crazy to see how just where Lamar has come from with his passing game and vice versa. So that's pretty much all the things I have here. And another thing, the Ravens combo. The Lions combo with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. My Lord. It's just, you got to give the Lions credit. We all gave them crap for the Jahmyr Gibbs pick when they had that draft a couple of years ago. And they made the trade, or I don't even know if it was a trade or a signing, for David Montgomery. And they really were the ones to spark this 2 running back committee type thing. They utilized it the best because those 2 fellas right there, you had Sonic and Knuckles, you had the speed and you had the thunder. Those guys are the best running back duo in the league, in my opinion. They are super efficient with it. It should be the blueprint for anybody trying to build an efficient run game because it is so much better for your running backs. The bell cow back is good and all, but it's always nice to have no more than 20 carries. We see Jahmyr Gibbs had 22, David Montgomery had 12. If you had the bell cow back, Jahmyr Gibbs would have had 34 carries. That's a big toll on the kid, and that's the reason why the Ezekiel Elliott's and everybody's run down. The only running back who is still around right now, who is a bell cow, who's still going at it strong, is the man who was featured in this game in Derrick Henry. But man, they are just that running back tandem. It was just, they had like 2 90-yard drives. The Lions did. They were just manhandling them in the run game. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, just giving the ball. It was just great to see. It was an absolute battle. Second half, Lamar, Jared Goff, they come out just absolute throwing dots. The play call on fourth down, it was like 4th and 3 for the Lions to go up 28-21. The play call where they faked the handoff, and it was like when they didn't fake the handoff, they gave the handoff. I think they gave it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He done the little flea flicker play to Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr Gibbs hits his head on the goalpost on the side of the end zone. That was a phenomenal play call there by Dan Campbell. I have a big problem with trying to remember coaches' names. But anyways, Dan Campbell, and this is something, 4th down, they've made that a staple in Detroit, and 9 times out of 10, they are able to convert it. It's nice to see that Dan Campbell has been able to establish that type of culture in Detroit, and just, they're going to go for it on 4th down. If they allow it, they're going to go for it on 4th down. It's just inevitable. 4th and 3, 4th and 2, 4th and 4, it don't matter. They're going to go for it. So that was a cool play call. Let's see. This is pretty much the last part of it, but this is a big focal part of it too. Lamar Jackson took a lot of bad sacks. Lamar Jackson had a great game. Don't get me wrong. But there's plenty of just instances where you're just sitting there like, Lamar, just get rid of the football. You're going to kill your team if you get a sack. Throw it away. Live to fight another day. Lamar Jackson did not want to take that approach at all. Lamar Jackson, he was pressing. He knew his team couldn't get no stop on defense. He felt like he had to score. He felt like he had to make the big play every time. So what happened? Lamar starts pressing. He starts scrambling around, even though he's very good at it, and 9 times out of 10, he's able to get out of the little funk that he's in back there in the pocket. But he wasn't able to do that against the Lions. The Lions did a great job containing. They had great, what's the word I'm looking for? They had great discipline, tackle discipline, run lane discipline. They did not allow Lamar to get outside. They kept him inside and made him rush inside. And they pretty much pinched him in, and they were able to get them shoestring tackles. So the Detroit Lions defensive line did a phenomenal job. And he just took bad sacks. And when it got in the thick and the thin there at the end of the fourth quarter, Aiden Hutchinson forced that fumble, and it came down to the turnover. And at the end of the day, the Lions defensive line came up clutch, and they ended up dominating that game. I didn't even realize they even had as many sacks as they have had. It was an absolute beautiful and phenomenal thing to see. But that is my biggest takeaways of the game. I thought it was a phenomenal game. I wished we would have had this type of game on Sunday Night Football, which is something we got like a couple of duds the last couple of weeks on Sunday Night Football. We were spoiled with the Ravens versus the Bills on the first week of Sunday Night Football. So NFL, can we finally get we got Cowboys Packers coming up. I don't think that's going to be much of a game itself, but yeah, guys, I enjoyed the Monday Night Football action. In this upcoming week, we have 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't understand why we do. I will never understand for the life of me why we keep having 2 Monday Night Football games, but we do. But that's all I can think of. Let's close it off with this. And this thought: the Detroit Lions are for real. I gotta eat crow. After the first week, I came on this high horse, and I was pretty much on this thinking like, yep, you know what? The Lions are cooked. Interior offensive line, fully new. The tackles are pretty much with Decker and Panay Sewell. They're the only ones standing. You had the center to retire, but did they show the last couple of weeks? That offensive line has done phenomenal. The defense, they've been making some plays. That defensive line, and Ali McNeil's going to come back. Rodriguez, they got a couple guys who's going to be coming back off of the injury. They got new cornerbacks, DJ Reed. They got better cornerback help this year than what they did last year, even though Terrion Arnold got to get better. But the Lions, they are for real. They're contenders. I don't know if they're Super Bowl contenders because me personally, I think right now I would have the Eagles, the Rams, and maybe the Buccaneers ahead of them. But they can play. If they play their good ball like they did last night and play complementary football, I want the defense to just be able to force a couple more stops where they can be big and they can be contenders. Now, for the Ravens, I'm not going to panic because out of the first 3 weeks, you've played 2 Super Bowl contenders. You've played the Lions and the Bills. Okay, you've played the cream of the crop. You got another big one against Patrick Mahomes. Now, if you lose this one with a struggling Chiefs team all around, specifically on offense, Patrick Mahomes, they've been struggling on offense. This is a fine tune-up game for that defense to be able to finally muster up some stops. That defensive coordinator, he's on the hot seat because this is back-to-back seasons where this defense has been pretty putrid, so we got to get it together. And that is pretty much everything I can pretty much think of from like little post-game comments. The Ravens they'll be fine. I think I might pick the Ravens this weekend to win, even though they're playing at Arrowhead. But we'll get to that later on in my picks. But that is my initial thoughts of the game from Monday Night Football. Phenomenal game, and I want to know all of your comments down below.